going on, YouTube? It's Friday, baby, rolling into the weekend. Got some political updates. We're finally getting Kamala's, whatever you want to call it, platform she's running on. There's two main things I want to talk about. I've just seen it popping up on Twitter here and there. I guess they're slowly rolling out some of their policy positions, and we're in for a doozy on this one. I mean, I don't know. It'll be interesting to see once they debate and they talk this kind of stuff out and see how they explain it. But I mean, really, right now, one of their main staple points, obviously, is economic, both sides. And Kamala's solution, as of right now, what we're looking at, she released today, was basically instituting price controls on especially groceries. So, if you don't know what that is, I mean, basically they're just putting a cap on how much you can charge for certain items. And groceries would be the main staple, I guess, what they're talking about, which, I mean, I think most people, you hear that and you're like, that makes sense, whatever. I mean, you can't just charge whatever you want for groceries, but I mean, that's kind of already how it works. They don't charge whatever they want. As far as I understand it, grocery stores work off thin margins, and I mean, it'd be interesting to see, but I think it's kind of monopolized at this point. Only giant chains survive anymore. It's not very often you see like a hometown grocery store, and that's, I think, because of the margins they work with. But my gut reaction to this is it's just not going to work. Like, you're going to try to cap prices, and my first thought is, who establishes what the top price can be? So, like, you got eggs or whatever, and you can't charge more than $5 for 12 of them. Who makes that rule? The government? They say no price. They say you can't charge too much. What's too much? Who defines too much? There's infinite possibilities in that just alone, let alone how many products there are and what is deemed a necessity and all these things. So, I don't know. People on Twitter arguing if this is like communist or socialism type stuff. And I mean, don't get me wrong. Price controls in general are top-down authoritarian shit, like where if the government comes in and says you cannot charge more than this amount for these items, that is in itself a form of authoritarianism. Whether it's necessarily communism, I don't know, but it's just how much control are you willing to give the government? In theory, our system right now is supposed to work off capitalism. It doesn't. It's obviously like, it's a blend of both. It's not just free market capitalism. And we definitely run into this problem where we have giant companies that kind of all conspire. It's technically illegal, but I mean, they definitely do it to basically have a floor to the prices they charge. And who knows? I mean, it's like, in general, a company operates on its margins. There's a price it costs them to produce, manufacture, grow, whatever, to provide their product, and then they charge a margin on top of that. And that's where they make their money. And it's normally dictated by how much are you willing to pay. Because right now, I mean, if they tried to charge $15 for eggs for a carton, they're just not going to sell any eggs. So it'll have to decrease until we hit some kind of stability. And then that will be the ceiling of the price. The market sets the price by what people are willing to pay. I personally think that's a better system. I don't think... I've made it pretty clear. I don't think the government does really almost anything right, so I don't think we should give them more control. The idea of coming in and saying, we're setting a ceiling on your prices, I don't care how much it costs for you to manufacture it or provide the product. I mean, if they say you can only charge $5, but it costs the company $7 to grow the chickens, grow the eggs, bring the eggs to the store, and do everything they need to do to get them to you, and they're losing money on everything eggs, they're just going to stop selling eggs, and then there's no eggs. And then what? Then the government says, well, we'll produce eggs. I don't know, maybe that's the end solution of this argument. But they're basically doing this because they're saying the problem we're having with inflation and all these prices going up is in large part due to corporate greed, which is wild because that's just absolutely false. I mean, not completely false, but to say it's mostly caused by corporate greed is just crazy. The government just printed more money than anybody's ever seen ever in history, and then they're going to tell you it's the corporations are being greedy. It's just wild. I mean, the government will never take responsibility for fucking things up. They just don't. They just can't. I don't know. It's not in their DNA. they can't be responsible. It's impossible. And that's why I wanted to get into the next thing, which was the even wilder than price controls was they're proposing a $25,000 first-time home buyers subsidy. If you don't understand what I'm saying, basically, if you're buying your first house, and I'm sure there'll be qualifications, you can't make $500,000 and take advantage of the system, I'm sure. But basically, they're going to give you $25,000 towards your house, your first house, if you're a first-time home buyer, to stimulate people buying homes. These are the same fucking people that just told you corporations are greedy, and that's the reason all the prices are high. Then we're going to give you $25,000 to put towards the house, your first house. Why would said corporation, greedy corporation, not raise the price of the home? You think the regular people selling their homes aren't going to do that? You think the big giant home builders that are selling new subdivision houses are going to just tack the $25,000 on top of the home? Why would they not do that? It's the same thing that we just went through this with like California and fast food. They say minimum wage got to go up to 15 or 20 bucks an hour. I think it was 20 in Cali. And then McDonald's, all their prices fly through the roof in California. Yes, dude, the price went up because our costs went up. If you're going to give me $25,000, that means the supply of money in the system of people who want to buy the home just went up by $25,000. Therefore, I'm going to raise my price because the money's there. Why would I not do it? It makes no sense. So unless they're going to institute a price control on how much the home can cost, which who knows, we'll see. They won't. I mean, I don't think they can really do that reasonably, but we'll see. How do you not see the immediate cause effect of we give you $25,000, you raise the price $25,000 to eat up all the free money, which is another concept. I was going to get into that later, but it's the same thing. We've dealt with this before. Anytime the government is involved in subsidizing things, for the most part, they get more expensive. I mean, don't get me wrong. The United States government subsidizes everything under the sun. We're subsidizing other countries. We're subsidizing the oil. We're subsidizing farmers. We're subsidizing college. We're subsidizing everything. So I think the easiest one to see this like direct is college. I don't know what the price of college is like over time off the top of my head. I think it's something around like, I can't remember. It's something crazy. Like in the last 50 years, it's went up like 2,000%, the cost of college degree or something like that. The government gets involved by giving people cheap loans that they're guaranteed through the government, so anybody can get them basically. Unless you make too much money, then you don't qualify. But basically, poor people can qualify for loans. In general, the idea is not bad. I don't disagree with it. But the colleges have done the exact thing I'm talking about, where you're telling me you're giving these students $6,000 extra dollars? Well, the price of the degree just went up $6,000. The government gets involved, and you can see the price of college just go up and to the right. It's just a fucking 45-degree angle as prices are just keep increasing over time. And they're not going to slow down because there's other things, don't get me wrong, like college, they got crazy administrators, they got 50 fucking administrators to do jobs that people don't really need. It's just what it is. It's bloated, the whole system is. But it definitely doesn't help the government is giving them money. And every time you turn around, you're going to see this. So, like, I mean, Tesla is another example of this in a lot of ways. They make a shitload of their money from basically just government credits and the EV stuff, green energy credits. They're basically milking the government for money because they're a green company and all these things. Not to say they don't make a good product or whatever. I'm not saying that, but it's just like you give people the access to the free money, they're going to take it. Greedy corporation or not. You're to be stupid if you don't raise the price. You're dumb. If I'm selling my home for $400,000 and you institute a new program and somebody who's trying to buy my home as a first-time home buyer and I know they have access to $25,000 more dollars, I'm gonna raise the price. Whatever. You might say that, oh, you're a kind of shitty person for doing it. I mean, that's just dumb as shit. If it's there, I'm taking it. It doesn't make any sense. And that's where I want to get into like this idea of oh, the other one. I forgot. There was another big one. Medical debt. And we're probably going to get into student debt. That I don't think has been officially released yet, but definitely medical debt. Government's going to forgive your medical debt. And there's all kinds of things. I think Theo Vaughn just talked to Bernie Sanders the other day. I listened to a little piece of it, and they were talking about medical debt and how bad it is. It is awful. Our medical system is obviously fucked. The government has their hands all over it. It's not a one-payer system or anything like that, but the government has their hands in every fucking nook and cranny of our healthcare system, and it's fucked. So obviously they're not doing a good job. This nasty private public quasi thing that they have going on that is United States healthcare, where it's so fucking expensive. The quality is high in the sense of how much you pay for it, but whatever. I don't want to make it a fucking healthcare video. I really don't care. The thing is, every single one of these things that I've mentioned here pretty much is that they're going to fucking crank this money printer here in a little bit. If Kamala wins, I mean, even if Trump wins, it might be the same thing. They want to up the tax credit for children. I think they both kind of mentioned that. Great. That at least I'm fine with. Whatever. You want to give people a tax break on their children because they're having kids. We need to have kids. Like, the population will die if you don't have enough kids. The country will no longer exist. Give them some of their money back. Great. And then you got to cut some government spending, which they won't do. So then they'll turn the printer back on. Forgive your medical debt. Turn the printer on. Forgive the student debt. Turn the printer on. $25,000 for all first-time home buyers. Turn the fucking printer on. This is all inflationary shit. So we're praising the Fed right now for bringing inflation down, and then they're about to kick this thing into high fucking gear. If this stuff actually goes through, holy hell. I don't know where it goes from there, because it's all going up. We just went through a terrible period of it. You would think they'd have some self-control, but apparently people don't understand. Like I said, there is no such thing as free when it comes to this kind of shit. When the government's talking, there is no free. If you give them more control, you're never getting it back. They're not looking out for you. They're literally just trying to take as much power as they can. So, like, when they promise this kind of shit, they don't care about you. They don't know you. It's none of that. They just want to buy your vote if they can. Biden did it with student loan forgiveness. Your student loans didn't get forgiven. I don't know anybody who did. Some people definitely did. I know that's the case, but it wasn't like they promised. Because they can't. It will blow the economic system up. You can't just keep spending money with no regard for anybody else. That's all they're doing. Promises. Empty promises, spend more money. It's literally either it's a lie and they're never going to do it, or they're going to crash the economy. So it's like there is no win in this situation. And it's just so crazy. And that's no such thing as free, the saying, whatever it is, no such thing as a free lunch, whatever. All these things. You want to forgive medical debt and student debt? That's taxpayer money. Either you raise taxes or you print more money. It's the only solution. $25,000, same thing. Print more money, raise taxes. Hey, we'll give you $25,000 to buy your first home, and then we'll raise your fucking taxes 10%. Thanks. What are we doing? It's just a fucking circle jerk of the government. They have no control. Like, they have full control, but they have no regard for how much money they spend. Just blow it out. Spend as much as you can. Every president, we keep going up. We're spending more and more and more. COVID was kind of an outlier. Trump was already on par to spend a shitload of money, though it didn't matter. And then COVID happened and we spent even more. And then Biden spent even more. And then if Kamala gets in and does all this shit, especially if you pull this shit, we're already going to spend more than the year before without this stuff. You add this stuff, keep it going. Just keep it going. Take it until it blows up. That's the end goal. This is modern monetary theory in practice? We'll see. I don't know. I don't think it'll work. You can try. Try it. Go ahead. Give everybody $25,000. Then I get, like I said, I'm not buying a house because prices are too high, rates are too high. Rates are going to start coming down slowly, and then you're going to give people $25,000. That means the prices all just went up $25,000. It'd be my fucking luck too that me and my wife barely make a little bit too much money and we don't qualify for it either. That'd be the real kick in the ass. It'll be real fun. Can't wait for that. But I don't know. If you have any grasp over like basic economics, these are all supply-demand things, man. Like, it's not that hard. You put more money in, you just up the demand for housing, and how are you improving the supply of housing? You're not. You're just not. So prices go up. Rates aren't going to keep up with that. It's just not going to happen. Medical debt, that's not a supply-demand thing. That's just pure forgive their debt. And what we mean by that is print the money or up your taxes. So then I get to pay for somebody's fucking medical debt for them. great. Sorry that you have medical debt. I don't want to fucking pay for it. I don't have any medical debt, and I don't want you to pay for my fucking debt. My medical debt I'll have from my baby that we're about to have here in a little bit, or my student loan debt. I'm paying my shit. You pay your shit. Should we fix the system? Yes, but that doesn't mean it's the same as the student loan problem where it's like you wipe everybody's slate clean but don't fix the underlying problem. So yes, the debt's just going to rack up again. You could forgive all student loan debt right this second. We would be back to the same scenario even faster because the prices are getting higher and higher each time. Each year we keep going up and up. We would be right back where we are in how many ever years? What, 30 years or something like that? We would be right back. Same amount of debt. Because you're not fixing the problem. You're putting a Band-Aid on it to make you feel better. Make you look good, I guess. Like I said, try to buy some votes. We'll see if it pays off for them. Who knows? Hope you enjoy your weekend. It's going to be a fucking shitty one here in Ohio. It looks like 85 degrees and raining all weekend, so we'll see. I don't think it's going to work. You guys got to let me know. Drop a like on the video if you liked it, something like that. Subscribe, come back, and dislike it. Tell me if you think I'm wrong. Please tell me why, because I really don't think I am. I think it's pretty simple. Obviously, these systems are complex, but the underlying ideal is not that hard to understand. And I don't think this one's going to be good for us, not in the long run. I'll catch you guys Monday.